points of articulation. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the 3 points of articulation. My name is Jamie, Big Tasty Wills, and we are looking this week into pre-orders, which is our talking point. I'm joined by my co-host. Who's next?
I'm Jonathan Fenton, and I'm oozing with machismo.
And I'll show you. You'll see. Not Stevie Richards. Adam the Wrestling Man. Adam Hanslip.
Lovely stuff, boys. Lovely stuff. Classic catchphrases. Covered many eras there, didn't we? So that's always... And as is Stephen Richards. I think he's still going nowadays. Little Stevie.
I don't recall that catchphrase, I got to admit.
I think, was it pre-Job Squad or...
No. It was actually one of the forgotten eras for this group. It was about 2003, 2004, I think, that he used that.
That was Victoria. Power Victoria. Yeah. It was quite a good heel back then.
It was.
If you actually got your DVD of this one of DDP Yogi, you'll find that Stephen Richards in quite a few of those. He's helping DDP out with that sort of thing. Yeah.
I generally thought you were going to say DVD 1 of the Stephen Richards best of DVDs, the autobiography of Stephen Richards.
I might buy that one.
I think I would. Right, so first up we have News World Order.
News.
So we got News World Order. So, Jonathan, do you want to kickstart us off this week?
Oh, you're kicking off with me. I think we should. There's going to be a lot of news. I think we've all maybe picked something up regarding the AEW figures. I think we've had releases of pictures of MJF and Dustin Rhodes. I think we'll start off with maybe discussing what we've seen from them. MJF does come with a chase, which is in pink with his classic Burberry scarf. I didn't think the pictures looked too good, but I've also just listened to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, and Mark Sterling, the director, is kind of alluded to the fact that it wasn't a very good picture taken of it, and that the final product will be better. I don't really understand it myself, but maybe a classic technical guy like you, Jamie, might know a bit more about that.
Well, I think if same with the original AEW, the first wave, the pictures we got from those, I think Jazzwares are sort of not cutting corners, but I don't think AEW are putting a lot of money into the promotional side of things because Jeremy Padawa, for one, has only just started Twitter, as what I can see. So I think they're not taking the best sort of shot to the figures like Mattel do. So if we look at like the ring when they first announced the ring, it looked awful, but then the finished product looked great. So I think it's quite a strange one on that side of things. But if you look at the images from Wave 1, they look nothing like the figures do when they come out quality-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen MJF from a couple of angles now. The first one looked terrible. The lighting, I think, really emphasised the dark shadows and the bags under his eyes, and it just made him look like his eyes were almost popping out of his head and were a bit weird. But the second angle I saw it for, which was more of a side kind of angle view, it didn't. I mean, he does have dark circles around his eyes, but it didn't look anywhere near as bad as that first one.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the Chase figure as well, I know that there's been a bit lead on to my bit of news, but Moxley's also going to get a Chase for that series. So you've got MJF who's getting a Chase and Moxley, which apparently MJF's not overly happy about. He thought he was going to get the only Chase in that series. The Moxley is one of 500 in the Inner Circle shirt. I'll insert a picture right now. What I don't like about these is the Jericho is one of 1,000. Cody is one of 500. They're numbered, which is probably my biggest pet hate So you've got, I think that's the normal series is 1 to 6, I believe. The bubbly is 0. And also you got Cody is 8 and Jericho is 7. I'm never going to get these. I think unless the surprise drop on ringside, unless you're there on the website for it, you're not going to get them for anything less than $500-600 minimum. I'm not going to pick these up, but it's just an incomplete collection already.
Surely that's the point of a chase. The fact that you have to chase the figure, and the fact that it is more valuable.
But we're not getting that over at retail.
This is definitely a future topic, but I did have in my news a bit more about the Cody and the Jericho pricing. The Major Figure Wrestling Podcast, again, Jamie, you should know this because you're in the group. They were actually giving a heads up about the ringside having them on for $90 each. I've heard there was some complaints about that, but when you look at what's actually going on eBay for them, I've got some figures up from what I've seen. And the Jericho 1 of 1,000, the highest I've seen it go for was $810, with the lowest of $400 in the buy it now. There's a current auction up at $500. Cody Rhodes, couldn't find any proper concrete sold item listings, but there was a $1,500 with a best offer accepted on it, sold. There is a buy it now for $949, and there's auctions now of both $1,000 and $1,225. This does not include shipping. So that's the sort of money these figures are going for on eBay right now.
Well, how much
As of that day.
That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Secondary market for that's going to be. I mean, will it die down a bit? I mean, will it?
I think it'll die down. I mean, it depends how AEW goes. If it goes kind of the way of TNA and Impact and stuff, then yeah, clearly it will die down. But if it grows and grows and gets bigger and better, then who knows?
It's hard to tell with the current climate of like what we've seen with wrestling figures is that people just getting a bit paranoid about not getting them. We might come to talk about that in a future segment. And people just go mental trying to get the figures, thinking they're never going to get a chance. We have seen Jax do the 1 of 1,000, and even now they're not too hard to get. And this is, 10, 15 years later.
Mm.
So I don't know how crazy this is. I don't understand it.
There's definitely one to keep in the box, though. I think if I ever come across one at a car boot sale, I imagine in 10 years' time I'll pick up a Cody. Adam, news. Hit me with some news.
Yeah, hot off the heels of the episode 1 where we spoke about Jeff Hardy, they've released a poll deciding about the next Ultimate Warrior figure. So the choices that they're given, good choices in my opinion. They've got Mania 6. I know it's been covered, but it's always a classic. I'm assuming that will come with the pictures with the yellow belt. So maybe that'll come with the yellow belt, maybe both of them. You've got SummerSlam 89 in his match with Rick Rude for the Intercontinental title. That's classic black belt if it comes with it. Or you've got Survivor Series 1990. Where he was in the team with Legion of Doom and Texas Tornado against Perfect and Demolition. And that one, hopefully, would be with the blue belt. So lots of, if you're a belt enthusiast like myself, lots of good options there. What do you reckon?
I did think the Survivor Series was actually a white belt, but that's neither here nor there. But when did you see this news? Can I ask you that?
A couple of days ago. Why? Has it been out for a while?
No. This is the problem. Right. I literally found out about it yesterday. I seen it on a forum rather than on Facebook. I was wondering if I was actually going to try and throw it against you guys and see if you actually even knew about it. Jamie, did you know about this?
I voted.
Sorry?
I voted for I voted for the middle one, the white one.
Right. Okay. What the point I'm trying to make is that before I even knew this was a poll, the poll had finished, it was ended. It must have only lasted maybe 24 hours. It was on WWE.com and Twitter only.
Mm.
We say we've refrequented the Facebook groups quite a bit. I've never once seen anything about this poll.
No,
Have you
I've
guys?
not seen it on the Facebook groups now.
So I do actually have the end results, and the winner is. Who wants to guess?
Mania.
Yes, 6. The figure we've had twice already, with an astounding 53.1%. Survivor Series 90 was second with 29%, and SummerSlam was the last with the 17.9%. Wow.
Shock.
I mean, it's always a classic. If you're going to have a poll on it, you kind of know which one has won from the start, because it's the one that everybody knows about. It's the one where people that aren't necessarily even interested in figures will go on and click on and vote on it. So I guess it was kind of a given.
That's kind of the point that people in the collecting realm are trying to make. It's just people that are scrolling through Twitter and they'll come across their WWE feed and they'll say, "Oh, little poll of which is your favorite attire from the Ultimate Warrior." Fair enough, it might be their favorite attire. It probably is the best attire of the Ultimate Warrior, but they don't know that there's already been 2 figures of it already.
Yeah.
And it's not you haven't just had a Rick Rude, which would be perfect with the Warrior, but
yeah, I would have went for the SummerSlam one, I think, because of the Rick
I'm
Rude.
I'm doubting myself on the Survivor Series now. Was it 90 where he was with LOD and Tornado, or am I looking at 91?
That's 1990. Yeah, you're right.
I watched it 2 days ago. It's good. Is it one with the big match at the end of all the survivors?
Yeah. Is that the only one that's got that match?
Grand finale, yes.
I haven't got to that one yet, so no spoilers, please. Yeah, I think I've just finished. Actually, I think I just finished the DiBiase match. I think only 2 episodes deep, or 2 matches deep.
I was
listening to Bruce Pritchard the other day, and they said the reason they didn't carry on with that is because it was a terrible idea. I didn't think so at all.
No, and look at all the other terrible ideas they carried on with.
It was a little contrived, thinking, because it kind of does say like one team's a babyface, one team's a heel, then any sort of babyface is any sort of heels afterwards, where they never sort of, consciously mention that on the screen. Oh, this guy's a bad guy, or this guy's a good guy. Where they almost did in that sense. It could be explained a bit better, but it is a good concept, I think. In fact, the Survivor Series concept's completely lost, which this will be a rant for another time.
Yeah.
Maybe when we do our Survivor Series episode.
We'll cover this. There's one called up soon. So my bit of news is the Macho and the Andre carts. So people are getting them in hand. Annoyingly, I've looked at some images. I think I've looked at like 10 across, and 5 of them, the carts have been damaged. So like one of the poles or one of the posts has come out in the box, which must be frustrating else if you paid that amount of money for a minting box, one of the carts. I had the same thing with my Dead Man Revenge figure, where the Kane's head was facing the wrong way around inside the box. I wanted to keep it in the box and not open it, but I had to spin the little head around, which is annoying. But yeah, I think, have you guys ever experienced anything like that? We want to keep something in the box and...
I mean, I've got the Dude Love Elites where the glasses have come off the sunglasses. I remember talking to you guys going, is there a variant where there's no sunglasses? And then I realised when I shook the box that they were down at the bottom, which was, definitely frustrating.
And as I said, we've had a bit of chat about this yesterday. I opened the Jim Anvil Neidhart Collector's Edition, and it had a completely bald patch across the head, straight from the package. So that's no good.
You got the bald variant.
Yeah, actually, a little image in there.
Speaking of Adam, let me just get up so I can show you guys my lovely body.
Oh, tasty.
We have movement. New segment, exercises with Jamie.
Yeah. JW Yoga. So our giveaway, the Edge figure, has the exact same thing. The sunglasses have fallen off and they're just hiding in there. Which is annoying, really, isn't it? Not really worth getting up for that, but
yeah, not worth degrading our prize that we're giving away.
No, well, technically it's a variant, so I want the sunglasses. Yeah, sunglasses free variant. You carry on. Jono, more news.
I have another bit of news. It is the WrestleMania series, the Elite, that will become with the Build-A-Figure Paul Ellering. We have the part list. So China will become with the Rocco and the arms. Goldberg will become with the young head. HBK will be with the legs, and Edge with the modern head and torso. Bit annoying for me that, because I would like the old head or the modern head to become with one figure, so I didn't have to get it, because I'm only after the young Paul Ellering figure. But with this case, I'll have to get all four.
It's almost like they've done that on purpose, isn't it?
Well, I don't know, because the last one with the referee, the one with Kofi only came with hands, so you really didn't need to buy that one, which was quite nice for Mattel, I think.
Probably why he's shelf warming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, obviously I've got an LOD, the LOD Elite, so I think I need to get a Paul Ellering. I haven't had a Build-A-Figure yet. Also, I've been thinking about putting the trigger on the Fink as well as JR. Obviously, I know Adam's got a JJ Dillon one, so I think they're quite sought after if you have them complete. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get all of them and then sell the Goldberg and maybe a couple of others.
Yeah, I can't even remember which Goldberg it is.
The latest Mania.
Yeah, definitely don't want that.
To
be honest, I was looking at the Goldberg that came with the Brett, and like that just seems a mashup of two elites that have already been released. It's a bit disappointing.
Yeah, it comes with a Universal title, this one, the Blue Universal.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bonus.
Yeah.
They had to release it with someone, didn't they?
Perfect choice, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't going to release it with a 15th Fiend figure, are you? Or a Strowman.
Well, it's deco sort of thing, isn't it? I guess.
Really.
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah, so my next one is the latest releases, which are on pre-order, which we'll get to in a later segment, from Boss Fight Studio, who have done some of the Lucha figures. So they look like they've got kind of variances of Elite and Basic. There's a couple of Elites, whatever they're calling them, which are Penta and Phoenix. So a couple of different companies releasing those two figures. So it'd be nice to compare and contrast them when they come out. $37.99 they are. They do look really good. So when you get a chance, if you've not done already, check them out. A couple of $19.99 ones are Taya Valkyrie. So as far as I know, it's the first release of her. It does have a little bit of movement at the waist, kind of like the normal basics women's WWE Mattel ones do. Quite a decent-ish face scan on it. And the other one is a masked Juventud Guerra. Kind of no effort put into that one. It's as basic as you could possibly imagine. It's like one color on the trunks, one color on the top, and then a couple of colors on the mask. So not very impressed with that one. I think Figure Toy Company did one of those. Is that the right company? The ones that did the theirs looks much better. So I definitely won't be getting that one. Any of you guys seen this one?
I haven't seen it, but I have heard about it. Again, the Major Pod maybe told me about this. I was meant to maybe look at the images before we started this, but didn't get around to it. The Juventud was sort of discussed in that they tried to catch his earliest possible moment in his career. Therefore, didn't have to put any tattoos, didn't have to put any deco into it. So maybe this is like Hoovy when he's actually a Hoovy, a young warrior. So maybe that's a bit of an explanation. But it is, it said it was a basic. Oh, do you know what the price point was on the basic ones?
$19.99.
So it's same as an Elite, really.
Yeah.
I'll have to check out those pictures. Apologies, I couldn't offer any more.
I've seen the Taya Valkyrie ones and obviously the Lucha Bros as well. When did Pentagon Junior change his name? because
last week or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was about a month ago.
I thought it was someone new because I saw it said Penta something Dark Side, and I was like, oh, I don't know who this is. Same bloke. So yeah, I didn't really get that, but I think they're always going to sell in America, aren't they? They're quite and Mexico. They're huge over there. So I think they can put a price point on it, and people are still going to buy it because they're quite collectible.
Yeah, I mean, from the look of it, they're really nice figures. Whether they're worth $38 or not is another story.
Definitely is. My final bit of news is about Funko Pops, which none of us collect, but there's a great market out there for them. I wish I could go back in time and collect or pick up every single one from the first 10 seasons or whatever it was, because the value that these things have gone to is ridiculous. So in this latest series, we've got Steve Austin with the Smoke and Skull belt. We've got China, who seems to be making it rain figures at the moment. 3 to be exact. The Rock and Stone Cold 2-pack, Drew McIntyre, Edge, and Otis with his Money in the Bank. Quite a standard bunch, really. I think we got quite a lot of figures from each of these in the last couple of years. Well, Otis only had one, but I expect them to have some more when he changes his look up a bit. But yeah, I think they're going to look good. People are going to pick them up. Not for me, but I can see why they've picked those ones.
Did you say Austin twice then? Was he in a single and a 2-pack? That's a little bit strange for if they're going to be released in the same batch. Any idea why they've done that?
They did the same with Sting a few years back. They had Wolfpack Sting as well as Luger and Sting Bash at the Beach, I believe.
Probably cheap to do, I guess.
Yeah, they've got the mold there, just change the paint up a little bit. But I think they do it all the time.
What's the differences? Have you seen the images? What's the differences?
There's no images released yet. Yeah, so basically it's Austin versus The Rock. I'm guessing for Mania 17, or 15 or 19, but Mania 17 is the one that stands out to me as like the end of the Attitude Era. So that would be the one realistically they should go for. But let us know which ones you think they are in the comments. That's probably the easiest thing to do. We could discuss it at a future time when images are out.
Yeah, I've kept quiet on this one, but it's very little interest to me. But it's as you said, standard line, kind of the ones that you'd expect them to make. The Edge, who's just returned, Otis, who's on a bit of a roll, or he was, and then the usual suspects, and of course China, who we're seeing all the time now, and rightly so, to be honest, because anything could come out of the woodwork about her, and we might not get any more figures ever again.
Yeah.
So it's something you got a secret there, Johnny.
Oh no! Just thinking about the old Jimmy Snooker or wherever.
Yeah. As soon as Dark Side of the Ring do a China episode, I think it could then.
Could be.
Any more news from the pair of you?
I've got one which is kind of news, but it's more of a bit of a laughy rant at Mattel. We showed the photos yesterday between us about the 2 Elite Paul Orndorffs next to each other. The earlier Legends series, I've been made aware that they actually did put quite a lot of effort into making sure the scale was right, making sure the little finer details were right, whereas this new one that comes out looks like it's been stuck on a Triple H body. The expansion of the chest is huge. It's about a foot higher in comparison if you go real life scale. It just looks a bit silly to me.
Yeah, seeing that image, it shocked me, to be honest, because I don't know how they could make that mistake when they've already made it so well in the past. Sure, they just have the spreadsheet to redo that one. Straight swap, really, isn't it? How did that happen?
I think, no, it's just, I've only just thought of it now, so it might be a crack theory, but it's probably something to do with the robe, I'd assume. Because we just had a Greg Valentine release. It's probably the same size robe. More than likely, they've sort of put the figure to match the robe to save on costs. But we'll have to see when it comes out.
I would say that is such a rubbish theory that that doesn't make any sense, Jamie.
Well, but, yeah. We'll see. There's got to be a reason as to why they've beat them up.
Well, someone has asked Steve from Mattel if he can explain that, so maybe he'll come back and let us know. I doubt it, though. It might be one he skips over.
Yeah, it's the weekend. He's probably buried in his emails, I imagine. Isn't it? Poor Steve.
Yeah.
More news.
Right.
Give me some more news.
Yeah. I've got one last bit. It's not a bit of news, but it might be a bit of advice to someone. A few months ago, we seen the release of Ravish and Rick Rude, the Elite Series. Help me out. 76, 77. And he came packed with a robe. And this robe has caused massive problems for all of us who collect and loose, because they came with a lot of black marks on the shoulders or on the tights. So I wrote to Mattel in the UK, told me to claim a refund from the person who sold me, which was Figure Pop Shop. I imagine Figure Pop Shop weren't too pleased to see that customers were getting a faulty product, which is not his fault, not their fault. So I decided to write back and say, no, this is actually a quality control, and I just didn't want to hear about it. That's Mattel UK. So I emailed Mattel in the USA and had a bit better result. And they eventually, after a few emails, sent a check for, well, it was $39.90, but still a bit of a refund regardless of the conversion rate. So I got a refund on those, but I've also managed to get rid of all the staining on the figures as well. I was done this using Oxy 10. What you do is you rub a little bit on, hair dryer it, buzz it for about a minute or so, then leave it for maybe a few hours, come back, rinse and repeat, do that several times. Bit of a tedious task, but it does work eventually. So might get your refund as well as a decent enough figure. You can see little bits of it still, but bit of a tip there for you guys that had a damaged Rick Rude.
And watch out for a future video of Johnny's deep bath, where he's going to be taking us for a big step-by-step process. And I'll send you mine in the post if you want to give that a go, Johnny.
I'm not doing it again, never again. There's a lot of figures that I get to sell on that I could do it for, but the amount of time I need to spend on it just doesn't make it worth it. But it is worth it for your own collection.
Yeah, I just keep the robe on out of embarrassment.
I don't want the robe. I've already got the robe, but the other figure.
Yeah.
So I really want to display both these without, because they're pretty nice in terms of decor.
Yeah, definitely. Better without the robe.
Yep.
Not for me, it's not. Just like when I go to the spa, I'll keep the robe on. Thank you very much. All right, any more news? Anyone?
Nope.
I think I'm completely out.
Oh, our resident Trevor McDonald is out of news. Lovely. Well, next we will move on to our lovely little pick-me-ups.
Oh, some lovely pick-me-ups.
Welcome back. We have our lovely pick-me-ups this week, which I'm kickstarting because I'm very excited about my pick-me-ups. First of all, this bad boy. Pop some Titantrons in there for fun, but
I think that's so loud it's knocked the audio off.
Yeah.
He hasn't finished yet. Wait for him. So that's good. That's the Titantron there. So basically, I picked this up off Facebook with a couple of loose Titantrons. It's mainly after our conversation during the Fig Life preludes. Got me a bit scratchy for it. I was getting a bit desperate. I thought I'd better pick one up. And yeah, I haven't looked back since. So when I get my own house and get my own room, I'm gonna display all the Titantrons I can find.
So is that brand new, or was it used and put back in the box?
Oh, it was used and put back in the box.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't spanking. No, I think for 20 quid, I don't think I think it was 20 quid when it first came out, I believe. One thing I don't get about this is on the side, which is classic Attitude Era. Very aggressive. And what you get is a completely different font and doesn't look like it's relevant to what's next to it. It just looks like it's a slogan for the Titantron. Which...
What does it read? We can't make it out. What does it say?
It says, what you get. Entrance themes, flashing stage lights, poser ramp lights, jumbotron, big freaking speakers, steel ramp banners. Not a single comma inside.
Sums it up, I guess.
You think very deeply into the font there, Jamie?
I am, but it's very much, well, A, it's very Jax, and B, it's very Attitude Era, just to put words on a thing. Don't worry about the font, and yeah. But yeah, overall, very happy with it.
I've got to admit that sound of the Titantron is so, like, it hurts my ears a bit, and it's almost like it's so hard to listen to. It's like when I begin listening to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, I'm like, it's like almost like I'm shilling their program on this. But I'm not, but they open with the Titantron every week, and I think, I hate the sound of this. I have to skip forward 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think luckily the demo button that you press, which you used to have in Woolworths when you used to walk past and push a little button, only plays Stone Cold's music for about 10 seconds or so. The actual themes are going for a bit longer. But yeah, I picked up some Titantrons as well. I picked up Kurt Angle's finishing move, Rock finishing move, a Raven, hardcore.
Let's see them.
They're inside the
Get
box.
Them out.
You guys want to make it rain? Let's make it rain.
Rain TTLs.
I mean, the figures themselves are not fantastic. We've got Jericho. There's Chris, as you can, big Jericho fan. We've got a Bob Hardcore Holly. Annoyingly, I've got Booker T, but no Titantron, so he's just there for pure show. The Vince that comes with the Titantron, which I've now got 3 of, I think.
Terrible figure.
Sorry?
It's a terrible figure, that Vince.
Awful. And I also got some BCAs. With the BCAs, also, yeah, the business is put the others away. Not allowed to have nice things. I've got
Show them to the camera.
I've got the Droz figure because the reason I got it was that I have the WWF 2000 tire, and I figured, well, I might as well get the Droz figure that goes with it. Why not? And also got the purple pants Triple H on there. The Rock and the Raven, as I said, I'm not allowed nice things. The missus has hid it away from me and she doesn't know where she's put it, so I've got to find those bad boys. But they're lurking somewhere. We'll put them on there on the next episode. We'll do a full thing about it. But yeah, you get the Titantron. Sorry,
Which figure are you most looking forward to getting them for it?
Gangrel, I'd say. I never had Gangrel as a child, so I don't know whether it was because he looked like a vampire or not, but never had him. So I figure, that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Him and X-Pac. Even though
The price of Gangrel. Gangrel is probably the one that the most sought after.
Yeah.
I actually had one for sale. I can't remember if it sold or not.
I think you did. I was spotted him. But yeah, him, the DX, and Mick Mankind. But X-Pac never had a good Titantron. They always messed his face up on the Titantrons.
Hey, I swapped my whole Hasbro collection for one of them.
What a bargain. Yeah, so that's the Titantron. That's my second big purchase of the week. Wink, wink, will come back to me in a second. Adam, what you got?
Yeah, my first one's not actually figure related, but I saw it and it was just something that is very unusual and I just wouldn't pick it up, which is the WrestleMania 3 lunchbox, the metal lunchbox with the Hogan Andre confrontation on the front. You got the Slam heard around the world on the back, and then not sticking with the Hogan theme, but we've got Andre, Harley Race, and Macho Man on one side, and Hogan again, JYD and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat on the other. So I just need to get a job on a building site, and then I can take it with me with my jam butties in for dinner time. There we go. Job's a good one.
There's a Walmart exclusive, those, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because you got those, the Funko 2-pack, I think, and a T-shirt. The T-shirt turns into a ring for the Funkos, which is quite good.
Yeah, really like that. Nice little lunchbox. It's quite consistent with the event, with having the other guys on the side. So it's not like a typical warm-up mashup or Asda mashup that we've seen with some of the T-shirts.
I'd quite like, because obviously Walmart in America own Asda over here on the partners, or vice versa. Be quite nice if those sort of things filtered through over here. Because I know that Asda had the Hogan Funko, but as we discussed before, we're not massive Funko fans. But it'd be nice if we got those. We got those occasionally over here.
Yeah, if only that was the case, as we've seen with all the collector's editions and such.
They did for a little while. The ones that used to come with the T-shirt, was it the one where they did it from different countries or something? They were Walmart exclusives, and they got over here in Asda, I remember. But that was quite a long time ago now.
Is that like the Roddy Piper and?
Yeah, I think there was a Hogan one as well.
Yeah, is there a Shield one? I think the Shield might have had.
I don't know.
So we get clothes, but not the figures. I think we only ever got the Then Now Forever Series 1 of the basics.
Yeah,
that's like a typical Walmart exclusive in Asda.
2 for £15, if I remember rightly. I think we got the Jericho, Sin Cara, Undertaker, and Razor or Eddie.
Razor sounds familiar.
One of the two.
Not Eddie. Yeah, you're right, Eddie. No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's just hopefully they can arrange something so we get more stuff.
Yeah, but we've been saying this for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's not gonna happen.
We can dream. We can dream.
Yeah,
we can crush our dreams. Jono, pick me up. So what you got?
Let's have a look. See what we got. I have received the Bret Hart and Goldberg 2-pack. This one was from Amazon, and I actually had it on pre-order. I think is something we might talk about it a bit later. But now that I look at it, I think both these heads for Goldberg have already been used on the Entrance Greats and the Elite 60, respectively. So it's almost just a re-release. I'm not sure if I'll keep it or maybe try and pass it on. Could maybe put it in a 99 display since I've already got Goldberg in 98. The Bret, it just doesn't depict the event. But the pink isn't as bad as I thought it was to begin with. It's not too bad. See, we're getting a bit of reflection there, but obviously the main seller is that US Championship belt, which I never got before, so I'm happy to get it. I'll probably open this shortly after the podcast. I just thought we'll show it within the box. The shield's a bit redundant as well with having this to tire, because you need them in jorts to really get the full effect of that, and a hockey jersey instead of a crappy Nitro shirt. Did any of you guys pick this one?
Licensing, unfortunately, gets in the way of that, doesn't it?
No, I decided against this one. The belt looks spectacular. I actually can't wait for you to get it out and send us a picture of the belt. But everything else about that set, I mean, the box is nice enough, but literally everything else, I just hated as soon as I saw it. So yeah, I just want the belt. I'll have to pick that up loose.
Good luck.
Yeah, I think that's been quite a sought after item, isn't it? Yeah, it's no interest to me, if I'm honest. It's nothing that brings back any memories. Obviously, I've watched the incident, the whole segment, but yeah, it's not really one that sparks any nostalgia for me. So, but
yeah,
obviously, yeah.
Maybe the attire itself is for Bret is quite similar to the Ultimate Edition with and the WrestleMania. So they both had the pink on the bottom and the black on the top. So that's 3 with the same attire really for Brett.
Yeah, try harder, I think, would be the advice.
But what else can you do with Brett, do you think?
There's not much. He didn't change his look that much, did he? They've done the 2010.
Yeah, maybe what we said about with the jorts, he did wear them in '97 in WWF for the T-shirt of the Heart Foundation, and then obviously wore them later on in WCW with the black and silver NWO. When I think that was after everyone stole his ring gear, or some sort of fan got into the backstage and stole all his gear, which he mentioned in his book. So I think he didn't have any gear at the end of his career, really, shortly after he retired.
All the gear, no idea. The opposite of that, no gear, all the ideas. My next is it's courtesy of Facebook. A chap called Aiden, Adan, Aiden. So a Raven. These are the ones I picked up from the Rock Finisher Series, and the Curtis Angle, sorry, not Curtis Axel. He wishes, didn't he? And then obviously we got the stage itself, which is buried beneath accessories, so I'll pop them open the other side. So yeah, the trash talking stage, it's probably the most. I had it as a child. I didn't like it then. I've got it as an adult. I'm not a massive fan now, but I quite like the fact that it sort of brings back nostalgia. It's going to look good on display, but as an actual piece, not great. And you'll see why in a second when we listen to the voices. Right, so here's the stage.
Live on the pod, are you?
Sorry?
You're not going to build it live on the pod, are you?
No. I'm just going to show you the stage there, and then
you will kneel down before the Lord of Darkness.
Which
I have come to save the World Wrestling Federation from the boring deaths to which it has sunk.
That well-known Jericho catchphrase there that everyone knows and loves.
Wasn't that Ric Flair? It sounded more like Ric Flair.
Jericho. It's Jericho. So the voices you get on there are Stone Cold Steve Austin, Chris Jericho, Triple H, The Rock, Undertaker, Road Dogg, Mankind, X-Pac, and The Big Show. So the Big Show voice is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's almost like it's sort of talking in slow motion. And he says stuff that at one point he goes, "Let's have some headbutts," which I've never heard anyone say that before in my life. Very strange. Undertaker's one is very dark for a kid's toy. It says, "I'm going to come from the dark side to claim your soul," which just a bit much for me, to be honest, this early. And yeah,
really?
Rock's just standard.
I think that's pretty standard Undertaker, to be honest.
It is, but I think nowadays that wouldn't fly. I think if they were,
I don't know. I
don't
don't see why not. It's not that offensive or that dangerous or anything like that.
People complain about stuff.
Definitely Undertaker.
But yeah, I think on the whole, I think the stage itself is terrible, but it's a good kind of terrible.
Yeah, it's not something that I would have ever picked up as a kid. Not something I'd ever pick up now. So no, that's my 2 penneth.
I had a bit play around with it a few years ago when I had one to sell on, but yeah, it's just a bit neither here nor there. It's like a sort of a prelude to the Tough Talkers, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't get involved.
Now we're just built into the figure.
But yeah, I think if I'm going to do a Titantron display, or I've got to have that and the Titantron, which I have now. So I'm just concentrate on the figs.
So what made you want to collect the Titantrons again then? Where did this idea come from?
Well, it's just when we were talking about it before, and I was sort of thinking, it's been a while since I've actually held one or seen one. So I think it's just, from looking at the ones online, being like, oh, I forgot they had this line, I forgot they had this. yeah, just maybe a bit itchy for it. So want to pick them up and have a lovely little display of the Attitude Era, because I've got the figures in the Attitude Era up there. So obviously for the updated Mattel ones, whereas I want to go back, and it was either these or the BCAs were the two I was going to get. So I figured that I'd start a Titantron collection first and see where we end up.
Right, cool. Sweet.
Adam.
Yeah, my second pickup, eBay again. All my pickups are eBay this week again. I was a massive early NXT fan. So this for me is one of the kind of iconic figures from that. And that's the NXT TakeOver Series 1 Seth Rollins figure. Obviously, he won the tournament, crowned the first ever NXT champion, beat Jinder Mahal in the final. And one of the iconic moments from like the first year of NXT is him just kind of waving it around over his head in one of his earlier gimmicks. And it's just different from all the other Seth Rollins figures, which is why I really like it. So very happy with that pickup.
Yeah, decent figure. Seems to be going for quite a lot now. I hope you got a good price.
£23.
I would say that's an excellent price then.
Box is perfect as well.
Remember the NXT figures were in Argos for £5 each.
Yeah, even then though, that Seth Rollins one was a very rare pickup during that time.
Yeah, I think I picked up a Reigns, which obviously we all know is a shelf warmer, and a Dash Wilder. I think were the two I picked up.
Did you never get the Bath Time Rusev?
No, I didn't.
That must be the worst choice for a figure of all time, I think.
See, it wasn't in NXT for long, was he?
I don't remember, but
Roman
it's just
Reigns.
a horrible toy.
Roman Reigns only had one match.
Yeah, strange. Very
Never
strange.
knew that.
But yeah, I think that's just what it is nowadays, though, isn't it? They just sort of pop the figures out whenever they can, and it's not toyetic, it's not good. Who's going to buy that one? Yeah, very strange. Jonathan, what other pick-me-ups do we have from you?
I've got a few T-shirts. There was a sale on Euroshop about a week ago, and they were reduced from 25, they're almost all £25 to £5 each. So I picked up this one from the NWO. I also picked up the Roman Reigns Big Dog vest, or a tank top is what the US call it. I'm trying to remember what else. Triple H. It was a gold one. I believe it was depicted in WrestleMania 35 versus Batista. Was it 35 or 36?
35.
The New York one, anyway. It says New York on it. And I also picked up the Stone Cold University T-shirt from 98, because I've been watching that. It's quite an iconic era of Austin.
SCU. Obviously now
Yeah.
Did you guys pick up any T-shirts? Maybe we could all just do this in one segment.
Well, I actually have thrown some T-shirts out, which is I've had to go through my drawer and because my drawer was quite full.
Draw me out.
So this one I've actually passed on to the missus but only because I couldn't bring it to myself to throw out because I really like it. But yeah, I had to sort of conveniently I had it here, but yeah, to sort of the opposite. I had to, things are on the way out rather than the way in, which I only wear wrestling T-shirts, so that's what my drawer's full of now.
So is that a vintage one? I see it had the WWF, or is it sort of a bootleg?
It's a booty. It's a little bootleg one. I think it was off Redbubble for like 15 quid, I think. I quite like the Redbubble and Etsy side of things because you get a lot of unique tops on there. I got that Rumble 92 one, for example, from there, and I picked up like the best of 97 wrestlers on there as well. So I quite like those little ones.
Nice.
Lovely. So back to me. So this week we've had AEW figures shipping from Smith's to everyone. So I've got the other two. I've got Omega and Cody, which I believe are at my mother-in-law's at the moment. So we've got Jericho, which everyone and their dog has got or got on the way, and we've got a Matt Jackson, which he was the only one that was available in stock before and supposed to get. Quality-wise, I can see why they go wrong sometimes. Like Matt Jackson's face just looks like it's been sort of buried in the garden for a bit. It's going to annoy me when the other one arrives, Nick Jackson, because obviously the picture, they're not opposite sides to each other, which I think would have been a nice touch if you're displaying it face on. So like rather than that, it's going to be spooning him rather than anything else. But
yeah, to change the whole packaging system, though, wouldn't
it? But yeah, I think box-wise, I've seen people post you don't really. The box is really, really nice. I'm just keeping these in the box. I think it's, I think out of all the standard things we see nowadays of not much effort going into the box, the only one that rings a bell of actually having effort going into the box is the Hardy's 2-pack brewed by the fire and the stage underneath. But yeah, I think this box really will look good displayed, mint and box. I want to keep them all in their boxes.
Yeah, I like the packaging. I just hope they keep it uniform. Just keep it like that. Don't ever change it. So it'll look nice in a row.
Well, it'll look like your classic superstars, wouldn't it? It's the same sort of colour scheme.
Yeah, that Matt Jackson is a nice pickup as well, because I believe that they're not sending them out to people yet again. There's been some kind of new problem in the production. So yeah, it's a good pickup, that one.
Yeah, maybe we could have mentioned that in news. The Figure Pop Shop has issued a statement saying they're only getting Omega, Jericho, and Cody in, but we'll be shipping those ones out to anyone that bought them or pre-ordered.
Yeah, I think we're not getting much love over here, which is annoying when it comes to those sort of things. Obviously, the other little detail on there is, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, where are we? There we are. There's a little E in the bottom corner. So obviously the side of each box spells out Be Elite.
Right, yeah.
On the side of each box. So once you put them all together, that's what you spell. So obviously that's how I'm going to display them. But yeah, I think overall there's a lot of effort going into the packaging just to make it stand out, which I think it needs for a first season. So good to see they put a bit of effort into the packaging, more effort than they're putting into the shipping.
So the Be Elite, that's 8 figures, right? So does that include the ridiculously hard to get Jericho and Cody?
7? Yeah, 7 figures.
Oh yeah, so it's 7 that is.
So I think it's the bubbly.
Right.
Yeah. So you got.
You think? Or you know?
I think I got Omega, Cody, Jericho, Bucks, and Brandy. That's 6. So I'm guessing the other one will be that one. Unless they do keep an E there, then I'll just pick up another Matt Jackson and have that stored on the end. Yeah.
More chance.
Yeah, that's all my pick-me-ups for this week. Those bad boys there. Adam.
Cool.
Right, my last one is a bit of a biggie. It's a bit of a sneak peek as well, because this one will be one of the main prizes in the Fantasy Wrestling League next year.
Breaking news.
I think people will want this figure. I think it's going to go quite rare by that point. So I think it'll be one of the first ones chosen by the winners. And it is...
Drum roll.
The Chase Greg the Hammer Valentine figure.
You bloody spoiled us, didn't you?
So obviously, difference is the yellow trunks rather than the black trunks. I think everything else is pretty much the same. But it's such a beautiful figure. I've got one loose. I've also got one in box. And this one will be going to the FWL, into the prize winners pot for the league at the end of the season.
That is an amazing prize. I'm going to have to win the league now. There's just no other two ways about it. Because I don't have that one. I think I do want it. I'm going to have to get it at some point. And that might be the only way.
1 year down the line.
Yes. This time next year, what is?
Johnny, any other... Or should we end on that high?
Oh, it's all right. I've got something to end on a bit higher,
Oh,
in my opinion.
was it a house?
As I say, I'm was three figures away from completing my Jack's Classic Superstars collection, and this week I have received one of those three, and it is the Corner Crush.
Nice.
There we go. There it is in its box.
Lovely figure.
Not a cheap one, of course, but at this stage, with a few to go, I'm gonna have to spend that cash on it. It is. I mean, actually, it's a pretty nice figure. Now I look at it, I usually just like sort of whiz past the figure. I'm not really studying too much because of the packaging is kind of what I'm concentrating on for some reason. What do you guys think?
You're just waiting on Trish and Lance now, is that right? Lance Storm and Trish?
Trish Stratus is the LGN version, and yeah, Lance Storm, which is like rocking horse poop.
Yeah, not released over here, rightly, I think. Is that right?
There's one available in the US for about £150. I don't think that includes customs and stuff, so I might try.
I think you
wait
can
on that.
book Lance Storm for that, I think.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but probably, I wouldn't be able to keep them on my shelf, unfortunately.
No, yeah.
I personally love that figure. The likeness is decent enough, and obviously the attire just pops out at you. I've got it loose. I noticed a strange thing in mine. The top of the hair is a very, very darker colour to the bit that attaches and comes down. Now, I don't know whether, because I got it secondhand, whether somebody's just ripped the hair off and stuck somebody else's hair over it. But it's a very different colour as the bottom half of the hair.
It's hard to tell from this angle. It looks the same to me, but you might be right. Obviously, this will be a sort of dyed hair, won't it? In some respect, maybe. Although I'm sure you get blonde at this point, so maybe that's a bit inaccurate.
Never know. Anything else for pick-me-ups, boys?
Nah,
I'm all out.
We're all out of dosh. All right, and we'll be back soon. Welcome to our weekly talking point. This week we have Law and Pre-Orders is the title of the episode, and also the title of this segment. So we're discussing our views on pre-orders, as well as looking as to why people pre-order and why shops do the pre-orders. So start with you, Adam. What's your view on pre-orders?
So, I mean, I can only really go from my own personal point of view, first of all. I've pre-ordered twice, and both times it's been a real letdown. No fault of the shops. I'm assuming it's a fault of the manufacturers, but the first one I ordered was The Fiend. And I ended up getting that after everybody else had got The Fiend. It went to the little retailers before the big retailer, and I'd ordered from the big retailer. And then the next ones I ordered, obviously we spoke about it a bit in this pod so far, was wave one of the AEW figures, which we're having all those problems with due to the manufacturing issues. So from a personal standpoint, it's not going well. And to be honest, I'll probably not pre-order again. I'm not somebody who is desperate for figures. I really wanted the AEW ones, to be fair. But it doesn't bother me if other people have them before me. So I think I'll give it a miss next time. So from a personal point of view, it's not gone well.
Yeah, I'm in the same thinking as you, is that I'm not in any sort of rush to get figures. In fact, I leave them piled up on the floor, waiting to open them to the point where I can sort of, put them in a space if I can fit them in. So not having them straight away is certainly not a thing. In fact, the pre-order system for me, if I can get away with it, I'd rather not do it at all. But I think it's right. The first experience I ever had with pre-orders was with the WWE games. I used to be on forums where we discussed about the games and that sort of thing, and it usually was maybe 50% Brit, 50% USA, and the guys from the States are going mad about pre-orders, and you always got these incentives, like you get an extra carrot if you pre-order, whereas in the UK, you just walk in the shop and get that same game with the pre-order bonus anyway. So at that point, I was thinking, what's all this pre-order business? What's the point of that? So if we're moving on to figures, it's almost the same thing. With not being in a rush, I've got no incentive to pre-order. The only thing is now, and it's going to be a massive part of why people pre-order, is the fear of missing out. There's been figures that we've seen that have come out and then you can't actually get them. I've had, at the beginning, I had trouble getting the Viscera figure from the SummerSlam series, although it did eventually become a bit more easy to get. But that's what it is, the fear of missing out by the customer, which then passes on to the retailer. So once one retailer starts a pre-order system, they're all going to do it because they're going to miss out on orders that they might not have got if they didn't have the pre-orders going. I've actually seen recently, I don't think Toys and Masks used to do pre-orders, and I've seen that they've just put a pre-order for Elite 80. So they're going to have to. They're going to have to keep up with everyone else who are doing pre-orders. So it's like
I'm gonna kind of counter that one a little bit, because what I was kind of going to say is that yes, I completely understand what you're saying. Everyone is doing pre-orders because of the fear of losing those customers, but I don't think they would lose the customers, because I think there's so many people that are wanting these figures that when they are there, when they're in your face, you would still get all the customers to buy those figures that you wanted to anyway. Because there's so many people who do miss out, like you say with your Viscera one, who do miss out, that there will be enough clientele to buy those figures. The chase is gone for me. I want the chase. I want, like, oh my gosh, a shop suddenly got them in. I want to get them now they're out. I love that chase, and it's just disappeared.
Yeah, I think there's nothing better than walking down the action figure aisle in a toy shop and just wondering what you're going to bump into. I thought that's effectively gone now. But yeah, I think a lot of the places that do pre-orders, as Johnny said, I think it's because they feel that they have to. I mean, there was a bit of a market for people that are going to pre-order. It only really started around the SummerSlam series, mainly with The Fiend, because I think a lot of people thought he was going to be a rare sought-after piece. Obviously, since then we've had 3 or 4 come out in the space of 3 or 4 months.
50 million or so of them ones.
Yeah, crazy. But
quite abundant.
Yeah, but I think it's just, a lot of people just pre-order, as John said, just because they worry about not getting the figure or the figure skyrocketing. But then in reality, what Mattel have done is a very smart thing, and they've essentially short-packed previous series and now they're long packing them, should we say, and you're getting a lot of AJ Styles and a lot of peg warmers, really. So I think it's just one of those situations where I don't really agree with it. I've pre-ordered once for The Fiend, not doing it again. I'll just go and just buy them when needs be, if they pop up, basically.
I mean, when you were referring to the AJ Styles and the Miss Elizabeth from that series, you'd seen that almost all the retailers, Fig Pop Shop or Toys and Mask, having a massive amount of AJ Styles and Miss Elizabeth that are not selling from that series. So with having them pre-orders already, they're going to be able to get rid of some of those at the retail price before they are abundantly sort of too easy to get or whatever. So as you're saying, it doesn't make sense at all doing it as a domino effect, but if one retailer is doing the pre-orders and another one isn't, they're going to miss out on the initial wave of people who want them first. People unlike us, but there's a lot that just need it straight away.
I do get that. I think it's going to come to a point, obviously, we've seen with the AEW line on how much retailers have been messed around. If it continues in that vein, I can see 1 or 2 independent suppliers turning around and saying, we're not doing pre-orders anymore. And then hopefully there'll be a good mix again, because what I don't want is every single person to be doing pre-orders. For me, it just takes the fun out.
Yeah, I think I get a bit annoyed as well when they take full payment before, basically as a deposit, you pay full payment for the figure. I've seen other places that do like a tenner or $5 for a deposit, just so they know how many to order in of those certain things. If pre-orders are going crazy when they put an order in, you're going to be ordering more. So I get that sense of it. It's a gauge to try and see how many to order in. But yeah, I think when they sort of charge, and like Smiths, for example, the big retailer, for example, will take it when the item's ready for dispatch, because they know they're going to get in X amount anyway. Just people just shop with them, really. So
I've got to admit, like, I'd rather just pay it up front for any figures. I don't want to just put down a £5 or something and then suddenly get a £15 charge later on. I'd rather just know what I'm paying for at the time. In fact, I actually said this to Fig Pop Shop because at the time they only had a deposit system for the AEW Series 1. And I asked if I could just pay the full amount. And then if they changed that after the fact. So I don't know if that was based on myself or anything else, but I would rather just, get it over and done with, pay it out of the way.
Pave the way, Johnny.
Pretty much.
Change the game.
Yeah,
So
I'm that way as well. I don't want a deposit because then I forget about it, and then the money comes out when I don't expect it.
That's the thing. I was thinking about all the pre-orders. I forgot, to be honest, with that Amazon thing with Bret Hart and Goldberg. I kind of forgot I've ordered that. And now I'm thinking off the top of my head what sort of pre-orders I've got. And I literally don't know. I've got the AEW Series 1 from Fig Pop Shop. I think I've got 2 of the Nick Aldis. I may have more, and I just don't remember doing it.
Oh, look out for a future segment of pick-me-ups of Johnny's surprise pre-orders. We'll just...
I know. I think it's... I sort of remember when someone might post on Facebook that certain stores have this figure now. It's like with the Kane. I pre-ordered the Kane from the Survivor Series. I pre-ordered the Undertaker Special Edition, which we had in the pick-me-ups last time. But it is a case of sometimes I'm ordered something and don't remember I'm doing it.
What's all your views on pre-orders? Let us know in the comments below on YouTube.
I do have one more thing to add about that pre-order system.
Right in the comments, Johnny.
It's a good gauge for smaller retailers to just know how many to buy in. They might just say, can you pre-order X amount, then we'll only buy X amount. So, they're not going to lose any money. They know exactly what the profit margin is, and they're not taking any risks or gambles. So I do understand from that perspective. It's more so for like the US exclusives, for the likes of Fig Pop Shop or Wrestling Trader. They get the pre-orders in, they know exactly how many to order, get it done. So it makes sense that way.
I completely get that, but on the flip side of that, if stuff goes wrong with the pre-orders, then they're going to have to offer refunds and things like that, and they might have already spent that money on new stock. So you've got your ups and downs on that one.
Sort of like what we saw with the AEW line with the Elite Scale Ring. I think a lot of retailers are pre-ordering that at £100, and then Jazzwares went, sorry, not happening. So then they've got to order elsewhere, which means it's going to be more expensive. I think a few companies have had that. I think a few have taken a different stance on it and done it for the same price. I believe WrestleBox did that, which was quite nice of them. There's a few other ones that I've had to sort of charge what they've paid for them, basically, just to satisfy the pre-orders. So, yeah. Another end of it is the Super 7 figures. I know Johnny's been speaking about the Major Pod quite a lot in this episode, but they've obviously got their own Super 7 series figures where the actual pre-orders are just the orders. So you can only get it if you've pre-ordered it for this time next year. So they're not releasing it in stores. They're not releasing it. Basically, the only releases they're having are from pre-orders. So that's the other element of it.
Kind of makes sense, but it also doesn't, the fact that it's so early, because I believe that's not until autumn next year that they're coming out, and that's probably going to get delayed, to be honest. So, yeah, I kind of get it, but also I don't.
I think it's because there's a sort of touching the market, aren't they, on this sort of thing. There's got Gallows and Anderson coming out. I think it's the first wrestling ones they're doing, them and Andre. What a 3-pack. But also they got Disney ones, they've got Ninja Turtles ones, I believe. So I think they're just sort of testing the waters with this, and they couldn't have started with a better 2, I don't think, for this sort of thing.
Well, certainly in the figure world, yeah.
Definitely. Any other points to add in about lore and pre-orders this week, boys?
Not from me.
I think we've covered that.
We've covered that. That's that covered. Join us next week. We'll be discussing something else.
You think you know me?
And here we are, the underrated superstar. I won't do my impression of the ring announcer because you don't want to hear it. Jono, you want to kick us off? Who are you putting into the underrated box this week?
Yeah, I'm going to try and keep it away from Mattel as long as possible. And try to discover some different lines like I did last week with the Hasbro Jerry Sags. This week, I'm going for the WCW Toy Biz, that line. Back when I was 13 to 15-year-old, got back into the figures a bit with my little brother, which it's his birthday today, so I wish him a happy birthday. 30-year-old today.
Whoa, another feeling.
Yep.
Happy birthday,
So, yeah.
Brother Fenton.
Happy birthday, Anthony. And one of the figures we had at the time was Perry Saturn. In his vest at the time, the storyline was that if he lost to Jericho, he'd have to wrestle in a dress afterwards, which he then fully embraced. He didn't want to wrestle without it after that point, or at least until the storyline got bored of it. But it's quite a nice cloth type of dress. Nice and frilly, but there's quite a lot of detail that went into it. The face scan looks pretty nice. It's hard to tell in the video a bit, but looks exactly like him. Got them eyes that are popping out, quite distinctive, in the beard. And the tattoos, for the time, you probably say are quite good for that era, all the way around. Even a bit of colour and detail in them as well. And also designs on the pants, the tights. But probably the main thing is why I liked it so much at the time was just the mold is so easy to play with. You could do any moves with it. I used to actually like doing a press slam because his arms look massive. So you could do a press slam like that. But it's also one of them where you just bash, bash, bash. Also came with a green bin. It was the Slam and Crunch series.
Oh, classic, the green bin.
Yeah, that's my pick for this week.
It's a decent pick.
Yeah, really like that figure. One of my favourites that I had. I didn't really have many Toy Biz, but I had that one, and I had the dress. For me, it really kind of introduced me to Perry Saturn more because I really thought Saturn was quite boring before then. And it really brought his character out. I know he obviously did a similar kind of funny storyline in WWE with Moppy. So they obviously saw something in that as well, so that he could pull off the comedy character. Figure wise, as you're saying, it's one of the better Toy Biz ones. Loads of detail. Those tattoos are amazing. Really good choice.
Great finishing move as well. Rings of Saturn. That was my go-to finishing move on the SmackDown 2 game.
Yeah, it's got me itchy a bit to start a little bit of a Toy Biz collection.
I was just thinking of all the.
It is actually. Yeah. It's currently up for sale on my eBay shop, but I've just got another one in as well. In fact, I've got quite a decent bundle for only 30 quid. It was about 20 of them or so. All got the accessories, so it's got me thinking that I could easily just turn around, go upstairs to my office, pick out the Toy Biz guys I want, and then set up a collection straight away. Probably something along the lines of one of each guy. Try and get that Nitro Arena and to do a little display around that.
We discussed that last week, Adam. Me and you had a conversation about the Nitro Arena, didn't we?
We did.
With the spongy bit in the middle, and the ropes that had the weird plastic bit in the middle of that. I always remember the Buff Bagwell with the gun in his head, or the thing in his head. It come with a little man.
Yeah, I've just put that.
Cheap plug. What's your eBay store?
Wrestling Legends figures with dots in the middle.
Lovely, Adam. Who are you popping into the underrated bin?
Yeah, my underrated figure. I've gone Mattel as well. Gone Mattel again, should I say? Same as last week. This figure gets so much flack and so much kind of jokes about it on the Facebook groups, and it annoys me slightly because it's a really good figure, and that is the Retro Fest Honky Tonk Man figure. Let's go through. I'm going to reel off again like I did last week about it. So there's a cool accessory that comes with it. Brilliant.
Well, I mean, why not? Honky Tonk's our first double pick. Lovely. We can have that. I'm happy with that. Carry on, Adam.
That kind of proves to the audience that we're kind of bouncing off each other and we don't reveal it to each other beforehand. Like it. So yeah, cool accessory. Really good box, the Retro Fest boxes. Really like them, especially like if you're a gamer fan, they're really good. The detail in the suit is really good. You've got your moments in this. This is the suit that he did the Hall of Fame speech in. This is the suit that he came down to the ring when he beat Ricky Steamboat for the Intercontinental title. Admittedly, the tights are a little bit different than that because they say Memphis on the back of these ones, where they said Honky Tonk Man in the back of the Ricky Steamboat one. But the guitar designs and the colour is exactly the same on his tights. The face scan is decent. I think... Yeah, it's decent. It's not too. I was thinking it was too fat at first, but it's not really that fat for the time. Yeah, I guess we'll go to Jamie for that one. I think my only negative about it was no Intercontinental belt.
Yeah, I think the back of it is really good. The front of it really good. Box really good. Guitar breakaway, lovely. A bit flimsy. Overall, it's a really, really good figure. The only reason it gets flack is because it's a line introducer, which, because it's toyetic, they've put it on the shelves, they've got it at a rock bottom price, so people go, I really like this line, I'm going to go and pick up all of the line. Same with the Kurt Angle entrance grates. It's exactly the same thing. I think that annoys me because it's a really, really good figure. If you're going to pick up, if you've got kids that play with wrestling figures, if you're an adult collector or you're an adult that plays with wrestling figures, it's a £5-6 Go and pick it up. There's no reason not to. It's a really, really good figure. I think, it's definitely when we just discussed underrated figures, this is the one that sprung into my mind straight away. Was this one? Because it's
I think from an adult point of view as well, obviously there's lots of customizers that might listen to the show, and the Honky Tonk Man body is a fantastic one to use for a lot of the 1980s people who've got a bit of a belly. So that's another bonus for it. I mean, when I was doing customizing, I picked up 6 of these just so I could use the body. So this figure's just amazing, just brilliant.
There we go.
Yeah, it's definitely a good figure. It's classic. You've seen it before. It's reminiscent of the Hasbro as well. But you're right. The only reason it gets any flat is because it's been 666 in the Entertainer, and there's seemingly an never-ending supply of them. So every man and his dog's basically got one. So if anyone tries to sell them, they're thinking, well, I've already got it, and they're not giving you an extra £2 for it so you can jog on. And that's why it's become a laughing point.
Shame.
We've also seen it's also become a prize in the FWL League. But
it's a good figure.
We've had interest. Steve Ames is very interested in winning that one. I told him if he gets bottom of the league, he'll win it.
It's very, very good figure, and one that I'm very happy that we've doubled up onto, Adam, because we get both sides of the coin. Lovely. Up next, we have One King to Rule Them All. Not Russian. We'll speak about it in English. Welcome back. We have One King to Rule Them All up next. The segment where we're discussing all of the King of Ring winners, apart from Owen Hart and Kurt Angle, and looking at whose figure is going to be overpowered the rest of them to go on to rule the kingdom. So first up, Johnny, who have we got?
Well, you tell me what match we're going with first.
Edge and Triple H.
So here's your Edge.
So there's the
this one isn't actually the King of the Ring attire, but it is possibly the era of the King of the Ring. So usually we'd have the white pants with the same sort of coat and glasses. So we'll just use this one as a placeholder. It's a nice figure. I like it.
Lovely slow reveal then of the pants as well, Johnny.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't get to look at figures properly until we do these sorts of segments, but it's a nice detail. Them glasses are quite sought after.
They are.
Much like Rikishi's. But yeah, I like the figure. Obviously, I've got the I've got this Edge loose to be exact, the one with the black trousers. I think with Edge, yeah, he wore many a tight, didn't he? So I think he could. It's annoying they haven't done the white tight. It was quite a big moment in Edge's career, wasn't it? On the verge of being a top guy. He was sort of upper mid card, wasn't he, for a couple of years? But they seem to concentrate more on the rated R run and recently the recent run.
Yeah, I mean, it's time for Mattel to release one. They love releasing Edge figures, so you'd think they would release a King of the Ring one, maybe with the trophy that Jax released. That was a lovely accessory, to be fair to Jax on that one. But yeah, the detail in those trousers is brilliant. Like you say, the sunglasses are quite sought after. I don't think anyone's had the same sunglasses. I'm pretty sure I'm right there. And there looks like a decent amount of detail in the coat as well.
Yeah, it's nice. So who's he up against, Jamie?
He's up against Hunter Hurst Helmsley.
And here he is.
He is. I've stayed away from this figure only because I've already got a Triple H in the same sort of era. I think I remember Triple H like this. I remember Warrior no selling the pedigree. So yeah, I think it's just a good figure in general and depicts the age of them. Was it 96, 97 Triple H? Around that sort of time.
Yeah. He might not have wore this exact jacket at this point, but the attire underneath is very reminiscent of that.
And obviously, he was supposed to win it originally in 96, wasn't he? But
yeah,
after the curtain call incident,
he was a naughty boy.
Yeah, well, Sean was the top guy. The outsiders had gone to WCW. He was the only one that he could punish. So they took away the King of the Ring. And alas, the Attitude Era was born because Stone Cold won it. So look for the rainbow after the rain.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Sure.
I think this figure could be almost talked about in the same kind of vein as the Honky Tonk Man one that we covered in the last segment. This one went
just
down.
About to say that.
Yeah, it went down silly prices in the shop, so you could pick it up for like £4 or £5. Yeah. But you know, it's his attire that he wore. The robe is good. It's a good accessory. The cane is nice and detailed, especially the silver horse head bit at the top. And the face is different, at least I think it is, different to all the other Triple H's that we've had. So, yeah, I think it's a decent figure.
Who are we voting for then, boys? Who we got?
I'm undecided. I'll let you go first.
I'll kick off. I'll go with Triple H, only because of what Adam just said then. I think I like the cane. I think the accessories are good. The coat, the ponytail looks good. I know it sounds weird, but the ponytail does look good. And it depicts him of that time. And I don't think you could have asked for anything more for a figure. So yeah, Triple H for me.
Jono, you made your decision?
No.
All right then. I'll finish it for you then. Triple H.
Whoa.
I think it's much more accurate to the timing. Obviously, for me, is good, and I think it's an underrated figure. So Triple H.
It depends on what the criteria are. The only reason I think Edge is a better figure, but it's not the attire of King of the Ring. That's the only gripe I've got with it. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to give Edge the vote because it is the better figure in my opinion.
Oh, that's changed nothing. Triple H is still true.
But it was a close one, that.
It was. I'd say it's probably 60-40 in my head.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Next up, we have Brock Lesnar, the next big thing at this point, versus Billy Gunn on the push of his life. Brock or Billy?
Let's have a look at Brock first. This one's a ringside exclusive. First Brock that Mattel released.
Very, very good Brock Lesnar. I think, this sort of age, I remember Brock Lesnar coming through 2002, destroying the Hardys. It was a Backlash, I think. I think my friend went to go and watch him at Insurrection. I think he was paired with Sean Stasiak, I think. Against
he was.
I remember him coming back and being like, that guy is huge. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And then then on to King of the Ring, match with RVD. A good performer back then as well. So yeah, I really like the figure. Just depicts Brock. Can't really do much for a Brock figure at that time, but yeah, my view on it.
Did this one come with the Undisputed? I don't think it did it?
Yes, it did.
This one did.
Above him in the box, I think.
Are you sure?
I think
there's
it was
two.
outside of him.
There was two. There was one where his head was like that.
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
one-
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
That definitely comes with Undisputed. I was not sure about this one.
What's this one? Well, I'll insert a picture now, which will cover that,
Which we don't know.
which we don't know. Well, we would pretend that we do. Yes, it did. No, it didn't. We'll edit out which one.
Jamie, you've got your phone handy. Go and have a quick look. Well, I'll discuss the figure.
Oh, yeah. I'll
Yeah.
ask you a question here, Jono, because around that era, obviously, his face is meant to be a bit younger.
Yeah.
And I know on the network spotlight, I think it was 6-pack or 7-pack that was exclusive to Toys R Us. Brock had a really good head there. Is that the same one as that, or is that a little bit older?
We've got an answer, by the way.
I could go quickly grab that one. We'll have a look.
Whilst that, we
One
can
second.
discuss this.
Yeah. By the side of it, I was right.
He was right. I was thinking of the blue.
Is it elbow pads or extra knee pads that he comes with for some reason?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point because he did come with extra elbow pads, but they couldn't fit on him. They were too small, way too small.
Yeah.
Probably why they didn't put it on the figure.
There's the other Brock, the debut Brock.
Oh yeah,
I think this one's actually a bit better.
is that one from that one's from a 2-pack, I think, isn't it? That Brock Lesnar.
It's more of a 5-pack, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Network
it. Sorry.
spotlight.
Yeah, that's the multiple pack. Yeah.
So yes, shall we move on?
There we go. That's Brock.
To Billy Gunn, who's on the push of his career.
I'll go first.
Yeah,
I've got a little modified shirt here. It's kind of more what he wore. So just a little modification that I got in a bundle that I quite like. So I kept that on my own figure. It also did come with a white DX shirt and another headband as well, just so we can take that into consideration.
But yeah, I think Billy Gunn. Yeah, what more could you want from a Billy Gunn? He's on the push of his career. I think he went into a program with The Rock after this, where The Rock destroyed him on the mic and then destroyed him in the ring, which then effectively buried Billy Gunn. But yeah, it was actually the birth of the "It doesn't matter" catchphrase was used on Billy Gunn. Remember from the Bob, my name is Billy. It doesn't matter what your name is. That was the first ever time that was used, which then turned into the catchphrase. So we can thank Billy Gunn for that, because I'm sure we've all used that in school at some point, didn't we? Adam, what's your view? BABG.
I might actually talk about the figure here. It is the exact attire that he won the King of the Ring in, the green attire. Did he beat X-Pac in the final, I believe? So I think figure-wise, that's very good. I think as a box, it's got loads in it. It's got 2 T-shirts. It's got 2 headbands. Obviously, detail in the lips on his whole knee pads and shorts. So I think it's a good figure. I think facially wise, it really captures him at the time as well.
Yep. You almost can't ask for any more, apart from the fact that it doesn't say Mr. Ass. Not sure if it did at the time, but obviously you can't get that.
It will have, but they couldn't do it.
You can't get that on a Mattel product.
I think, didn't the Japs one used to have Mr. A, I think, on the back, or BA, had BA, I think, or something similar.
Jax did a lot of silly stuff like that.
Silly ass, she was. Yeah, ironically. But yeah, on the whole, I think figure-wise, very good capture of Billy Gunn from that era. Personally, I'm going to go with Billy, only because of the reasons that Adam depicted, not Alan. His vote's next. Yeah, I think everything you could want from a Billy Gunn figure from that era and from a few years before, and possibly before we got to the one Billy Gunn. So yeah, what could you want?
Pretty much. I would probably say the same for both, that they are exactly what you want from A, a Brock Lesnar figure, and B, a Billy Gunn figure. But there's a lot more happening for Billy, so Billy it is. Now it's 2-0. So Adam.
So
What do you
I think there's definitely positives in both. I actually really, the Brock one is one of my favourite Brocks. I think the box is really nice that it comes in. I think the belt accessory that it comes with is really nice. But for the purposes of King of the Ring and for all the extras you get in it, the Billy Gunn figure wins for me.
Oh, so
Very good.
BA Billy Gunn.
DX next round.
Oh, what
In
a
the semi-finals.
Semi-finals, and also we got we'll be doing those next time, and also we've got the other semi-final, Brett and Mabel. So look forward to those. And next up, we have the Mattel Retro Review. This is the segment of the show called Retro Review, and we're looking at all the Mattel Retro Series, and we're going to be giving them our own rating, and it's up to you guys at home to give us your ratings as well. So, Jono, last week's scores, please.
Yeah, speaking of last week, we did get 7 people that voted on the scores. I'll give them a quick shout out since there is only 7. We have Thomas Guthrie, Clark R. Gilmore, Paul Horahan, Scott Crouch, Steve Scott Moore, Samuel Beatty, and Stuart Guido Brown. So thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. So with your scores added to the listings, I'll do in reverse order. So in 6th place, we have Kevin Owens with 5.5 out of 10.
Expensive figure.
Next is John Cena, 5.6 out of 10. And the 4th place is Roman Reigns, 6.2. And we have at 3rd, The Ultimate Warrior at 6.6 out of 10. So the final 2, Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, I think we know who's going to take this one. Number 2 is Brock Lesnar, 7.1 out of 10. And The Undertaker gets an even 8 out of 10, making him the number 1 from the series, and possibly quite hard to beat going forward.
Do you know what? I think that shows that with Brock, if you do a very simple figure right, people are going to appreciate it.
Yep, I agree. I think if you just get an accurate figure of something that's quite bland, it's going to get a higher score. I think.
Yeah, if I was going to randomly guess where Brock could have come in that series, I probably would have said it's down there in either last or second to last if it was a public kind of vote. But obviously, when you nitpick, when you go through everything, when you actually look deeply into it, it's a decent figure.
It is. It's accurate. Does the job. It's got his tattoos and it's got his logo. That's all you need.
Lovely. So let's move on to this week.
Shall we? Let's start with the Big Red Machine, Kane, with his choke slamming action.
Poetic.
Pretty much the same action as the Undertaker.
Well, we've got the same moves. I think would be.
Pretty much, I guess. So I don't see why it shouldn't have had this one. It's probably the right action for him. Got the upper half deco. Unfortunately, it's missing anything on the bottom half, which is really disappointing. They should have had some, stripes down the side at least. Perhaps a painted on black belt or something. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think for myself, you've kind of covered what I was going to say. It's just a little bit lacking compared to a normal Kane figure. I mean, it is the Kane figure that I like, where it's got the kind of black coming downwards fire almost, and with the one arm exposed. That is the kind of Kane that I remember and the kind of Kane that I like. So I'm glad they went for that one. But like you say, no belt, no detail on the lower half. It could have been better.
Yeah,
Jamie, thought?
I enjoy the one arm, one sleeve Kane. Yeah, I don't think there's nothing. I think both have pretty much covered the whole of the bases for it. A bit more deco would have been lovely. I'll kick us off. My score for it is a 5.5.
Nice one. Adam, what's your thoughts?
I'm definitely going higher than that. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's still quite a cool looking figure. I'm really glad that it didn't come with a removable mask. That makes it much better for a retro, in my opinion. I think I'll go 6.7.
Pretty good score. I've actually come prepared this time. I'm actually writing them down, keeping track of them, and I've got my scores already pre-made. And I've given it a 6.5 with the reason that I'd probably say it was close to a 10 on top, but it's like a 4 or something on the bottom. So 6.5 from me. Next. Who should we go next? Mankind. You've got him. Maybe you can have a little talk first.
Yeah. All right then. Facial wise, it's great. It's got the proper smiling face. Again, it's not a removable mask, which I think is good for these retros. The mandible claw action is probably the perfect arm movement for it. In my opinion, you can kind of put the claw into somebody's mouth. There's the trousers blend in with the boots, which I can't remember were they exactly the same colour.
I believe he had black boots.
Yeah, I thought so. So
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be accurate. He's wearing a bland tie. They could have maybe put a little bit of detail into the tie, but I guess it's supposed to be an early version of Mankind. But yeah, it's all right. It does the job for me.
I think it's a bit of a mashup, isn't it? Because he had black trousers or tracksuit bottoms with the shirt and tie a lot of the time.
He did wear the brown tights with the shirt at the beginning, then switched to the joggers afterwards. So it is accurate in terms of what it's going for. That's certainly true.
Yeah, it must have been like early hardcore title era.
Yeah,
corporation one. Yeah, I agree with Adam. I think mandible claw action's the best one for it. You couldn't have asked for a better one on it. Yeah, it's just a lovely all-round figure for our mech.
Guys, the surprising thing that you guys haven't picked up on is that it's a sleeveless shirt. It's meant to have a short sleeve, and it doesn't. So that's where
I thought you just customized yours to match you. Sorry.
Yeah, good one. I've got sleeves to do.
No.
But yeah, that's probably my main gripe with this. If only I had a shirt, it would have been a really good score, perhaps over 8 or 9. But instead, I'm giving it a 6.6. Slightly better than Kane.
I can't unsee the sleeveless shirt.
That's going to affect the score then.
Yeah, I was going to go with a 7, whereas I think that's just knocked it down a bit now. I'll go 6.5 because I can't unsee that now.
Cool.
I was going to kind of go with the same rhetoric as I gave Kane, where the lower half is pretty poor. And I was going to say the top half is all right, but obviously you've hit me with an obstacle. So yeah, same as Jamie. Didn't even take that into consideration. I think that probably knocks it down to a 6 for me.
6.0. That's sorry, Mankind. Sorry for pointing that out. You might have done better if it wasn't for me.
He's going to cry himself to sleep now because of you.
Shall we have a look at the first WCW retro? It's Sting. Adam's got this one as well.
Yeah, I've got them all from now on.
Sting.
I'm happy to let you speak while I write Sting's name down on my sheet.
Go on, Jamie. Kick us off.
I'm not a massive Sting fan. Can I shock you? Not a big Sting fan. I know, but I know a good figure when I see one. It's a Sting figure. Is it the suit go up to his neck? I think that's a bit strange looking. Yeah, overall, I've rated it a 6, a flat out 6, only because it's a nice figure of Sting. I think the Wolfpack one's from a later series, which looks a bit more toyetic than this does. But yeah, I think if you're a Sting fan, you don't really like it. I think he wore long sleeve, didn't he, normally?
No, he's definitely a short sleeve guy. I think you're just trying to have a guess.
Well, no, my figures are wrong then, because I've got this one Sting figure and he's wearing a long sleeve.
You might have worn sort of long sleeve once, perhaps. Maybe before he even had his match, might have been all the way during '97 when he was in the rafters and such.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you might have had it on like, promo shots and things like that. Possibly what the new Mattel Legends was meant to be, but didn't come out.
Never happened. Yeah, not a massive Sting fan, so I can't shed much light on this one.
So what was your score? Just
6.
remind me. 6.
I'm giving you nice even scores. I'm being nice today.
Well, it's up to you. Adam, would you like to have a...
Yeah, so again, there's nothing on the bottom half at all. The boots are a softer material than the others. I don't know if you noticed that. Compared to like Mankind and Rock and Austin and things, softer material on mine.
Yeah.
I think the action works for the Stinger Splash, but it's if you really want to play with it and you want to do the Scorpion Deathlock, there's no way you can do it with this figure. Purely because of how the legs are. So that kind of knocks it down quite a lot for me in kind of playing purposes. Again, top half's all right. I can't remember whether he wore 2 black gloves or not. So I haven't got a clue. But for me, it's a weak one of the series. It's Sting again is not one of my favourites, same as Jamie. So 5.4.
Oh, who's Sting? Luckily, I've got a better score from because I think it looks exactly how it should be. That I like the Stinger Splash action. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do a sharpshooter or a Scorpion Deathlock. That's never going to happen. There's always going to be certain moves that are just never going to go with, never going to happen. You're going to struggle with doing that with your Mattel figures anyway. So good likeness, but it is missing the lower half, unfortunately. So what would be a 7+ for me is turned into a high 6 at 6.8.
That is a high 6.
High 6. Where should we go next? Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, I actually have this one. I could have.
Well, why don't you go and get it and have a look and talk us through it, Jamie? You struggle to talk through Sting, so you might as well have a go at this one. But hurry up, because remember, dead air is a crime.
Leave the lad alone. He scored an important goal.
Oh,
right, there we are. I've got our Steve. Picked him up for £2 at Par Market. Thank you very much.
Sweet.
So I play this with my 1-year-old until he tries to climb in the ring. It's just a very weird shape to do a stunner with. Like, it's fine. You can do a stunner.
Yeah.
But yeah, just very strange. I don't know what action they could have picked to do a stunner with it. It's just a very weird mold. But overall, I think it's more of a Luther's press move, looks of it. But yeah, I quite like it. The knee brace is good. Not much you can really do with Stone Cold. My lower half is different colour to the top half, but apart from that, it's all right.
I think you got a bung one there because mine's pretty much the same, maybe ever so slightly different. Oh, that leg looks like it's gone gangrene. Look at Jamie. He said about the knee brace. It's actually the first thing that's been removable on these series of the Red Rose. You can actually remove that. Okay. I found one in a bundle which kind of made me click. I didn't realize before, but that's where it's from. But as I said, as Jamie said, I was thinking, could you have done a better one for the Stone Cold Stunner action? That's what I've written down because I had to think myself and I couldn't really think of anything better. Tires spot on, other than maybe another brace. There's nothing more you can do. So I'm happy with it. What do you reckon, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I think the opposite to Jamie, to be honest, on the finishing move. I think that's a great one to be doing the stunner with. He's got one leg slightly forward that you can kick with and then do the stunner straight away with this bit that comes up. And then you've got other ways of doing it, moving the arm downwards for other moves. So I completely disagree with you on that, Jamie. I'd probably say facially, it's the worst of the series. I don't think it's a good likeness at all facially. I agree with Jamie on the different colours. My top half is much darker than my lower half. But yeah, the brace, it is removable, but you'd have to go to some effort to remove it. So I like the fact that they've not made it too easy to come off. It's not going to fall off during play or anything like that. But yeah, it is what it is. It's Austin. Don't think they nailed it as well as they nailed Brock. for a simple one. But yeah, it's all right.
Scores in the doors. Jamie, what do you got?
Yeah, the action for me is a dud. So I'm gonna give it a mellow 5.1.
Controversial
Yeah,
opinion.
over. And as you
Adam?
said, the face wise, it's just a bit weird. Sorry, Karen.
I'm going to go. I think the face really puts it off for me. So it would have been a decent high score, but I'm going to go with 6.1.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would probably put it a lot higher if the face had been better. Unfortunately, we've seen a bit of a trend in all these is that they've got one little downfall where it's knocking the whole score down. This would have been 7 to 8 for me, but it still comes in at a high 6. It's 6.9, 1 point above Mankind. On my scale.
Especially seeing as your body and legs are the same color.
Well, yeah, that helps.
It does help.
Moving on, we have The Rock. Didn't you pick that one as well, Jamie, or was it Adam? He's gonna get it. He's on the move again.
He is indeed.
If you've got Triple H behind there, go get it as well. Why are you there?
I do not.
Do you want to kick off with this one, Jono?
Yes, the main gripe with this one, the action. What is this doing? What move does The Rock do where it calls for this one? Why wasn't it the Austin one? This could have worked for People's Elbow or the Rock Bottom very easily. It's the same mold, or you just have a different boot, really. There is a good attention to detail with the attire, with having the Rock's signature boots. They've got the logos on each side, but the action puzzles me. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the same thing on this one. The only argument that I was going to give for Mattel maybe in this one is that they'd already got Mankind and Austin that really worked, so they decided that they wanted a different looking one, so people didn't moan they were all the same. But then again, they could have put Rock in a different series if they were going to do that. It is probably the second choice for doing the Rock Bottom maybe than that one. But yeah, they should have waited, put it in a different series and give it the proper action.
I really don't see how you can do the Rock Bottom. Even the Kane Undertaker pose would have been better for a Rock Bottom.
I think personally, I'm going to disagree with you. I like the action purely because People's Elbow, you can, boom, People's Elbow, job done.
That is not the People's Elbow, Jimmy. What have you been watching all these years?
Runs in, boom, elbow.
He's never hit an elbow like that.
No, but it's a toy, isn't
Like
it?
that.
It's a toy. Austin's never hit a stunner like this. But it's...
Well, if only if Austin's legs bent at the waist, that would have been a perfect stunner.
Yeah, and I think with this, like, you can't really do a Rock Bottom. I think all you can do is a gorilla press slam.
Yeah, it's a good press slam action, or he could fly and tackle or something. Neither moves that The Rock was signature for.
But,
can't even do the spine buster. Or
I think looks wise for a figure, it's probably the best one of the series. Looks wise, if we're looking at the attire, face wise for this size is pretty much bang on. Hair's good, and the pants are lovely. Yeah, I don't know what more you want looks wise, but yeah, I agree to some extent. I think they could have maybe invented a feature which would have looked good for a Rock Bottom or a People's Elbow, or not had Austin do this. But yeah, I think looks wise it's the best of the bad bunch.
Fair enough. What would you give this score?
Score wise, I'm going to go for a 7 on Dwayne. Look wise, spot on. Action could have been a different one, but I'm okay with it. Middle of the ground, cheeky 7.
Cheeky.
Yeah, for me, the action let it down, but everything else is pretty spot on. Love the fact they put the People's Elbow in. They put the gold attire on him, which is probably my favourite basic Rock attire. So I think 6.5 I'm going with this one.
Yeah. So this is the first one I'm debating changing my mind. I had him at 6.1. I think I was a bit too hard on the action because it is a good looking figure. It looks good, but that action really does bring it down a lot. I will add a couple more points on it and go for 6.3. A couple of extra that you might not have got otherwise. Let's round them out. It is Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H from SummerSlam 1998, I believe.
When he had that ladder match with The Rock, would have climbed up the ladder like this.
Yeah.
With
that might be
with this action.
You could probably throw a ladder with it.
Yeah.
This action. That's The Rock. We've done that. Let's move on. How then, Adam? You've got him in front of you. What do you think?
I actually really like this figure. I think it's a really good one of the series. When I first saw it, I didn't, because as soon as I see this type of figure, I think high flying, because you think of rockers and stuff like that. But if you actually think about it, obviously with his pedigree, they've got the face absolutely spot on for me. He's really scowling, looking up at people, down at people. Sorry, which was him at the time. It's my favourite Triple H attire from that match. I think it's a really good attire to have chosen. The boots don't match the trousers, which is always a plus, and there's a lot of detail in the bottom half, which there had to be because there's nothing on top. I'm struggling to find negatives, to be honest, because I really like this figure.
Well, I can find you the negative in the fact that, I'm sorry, but this is just not a pedigree. It's not a pedigree. I've tried to use this figure to do a pedigree of some description on any of the retro figures, and nothing worked. Nothing that worked. You can't grab it at all. There's no grabbing. You couldn't get around any sort of.
You can kind of imagine.
You got to imagine. You got to do that with everything. But if the arms were maybe a little bit further out, maybe you got a pedigree going on, but not this way. Which is, I agree with you. It looks excellent. It's one of the better ones, like The Rock, but the action lets it down for me. So I sense a high score from Adam. What about Jamie?
Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of it, if I'm honest. Only because I think face-wise, it looks good. The action for me is just not there. Could have done with this action. Would have been relatively better for it. I mean, you could pedigree Austin to some extent,
right? That would have been a better choice.
Yeah, I just don't know why. It's just a strange one. I'm guessing because they need a heel for the series, didn't they? I'm guessing for every series they might need 2 jumpers.
As you said, you could have done Triple H in this attire with his trunks look, maybe.
Yeah, but,
might have worked a little bit better.
It was just easier to mold. But yeah, I think overall I'm going to give it a nice modest 4.8.
Whoa, that is below modest.
Modest for me.
Obviously, I'm going to go higher than that. I do take on board what you're saying about the arms being too small. But I do think that you can still kind of do it to a degree, even if you're doing it where it's in motion and you just kind of like not the initial grabbing part. It's not a toyetic figure because it's not one that kind of pops. It's my choice because of the attire, but it's not one that you're going to run out and get on the shelves. So not points off that. So I think an 8. I'm going to give it.
Straight 8. That's pretty high. In fact, every single figure I've scored in the 6s for this, all just slightly different. This is 6.4 for me, so it's middle of the road. The action lets it down. I cannot see past it. It's not a good choice as a jumper for Triple H, in my opinion.
It's not a good choice of attire for Triple H, personally.
The attire is fine. I just can't picture Triple H as a jumper. If you're a jumper, you've got to be a high flying, or at least do some move that jumps around like the Stinger Splash.
I saw they didn't put the game one on there, like a 2000s Triple H, maybe 2001.
Well, that's what I mean. If they did the Rock figure, then that and the Triple H 2000 figure got a winner. if they ever come back, it's possibly one they could do pretty easily.
It's on hold at the minute. It's not cancelled. It's on hold.
Hiatuses.
Yeah. The hiatus one. That's one. That's all of them, isn't it, Johnny?
That is all of them.
That's
We are
all.
out of retros for the series.
No retros. Lovely. So, yeah, next week obviously we'll be covering the illustrious season 3. I'll make sure if I have any season 3s in my collection, have them ready-made next to me, so we have that. And obviously remember at home to vote for who you think and give us a score and let us know if you like Triple H, if you don't like Triple H, if I'm too harsh on Triple H. Let's just tell us about Triple H. If you like Triple H, let us know. And yeah, share your opinions. We'll be back in 2 seconds with the Q&A. Welcome back to the Q&A. We haven't got a catchy, ringy name to this segment yet, but feel free to let us know in the comments or on our Facebook page what you think we should call this section, and we'll have a little review of it. So, Adam, do you want to kick us off with your question for the week?
Yeah, definitely. Mine's from a gentleman called Alan Logue. He's been a supporter of the YouTube page and things since the start, so thank you, Alan.
Cheers, Alan.
Well,
It's a simple figure. Obviously, we've got the underrated or superstar section. He wants to know the opposite. So what would we class as an overrated figure? Can be in the terms of just the fact that you think it's very overrated and how people think about it, or it can be like a really high value figure or something that you might think's not worth the money at all. Who wants to kick us off? Jamie?
yeah, I'll kick us off. I'd say the Undertaker defining moments from the Survivor Series. Like, it's a good looking figure, but I think the reason there's 2 takers defining moments one, and for me the other one's better. So I think that's probably why I don't think it's as rated as it should be. You see it go for over £100 sometimes. Decent condition box. It's crazy. I mean that doesn't ring a massive bell as well. I watch wrestling every week then, and not at one point did it stick out in my head of, oh, we need a figure of that, or oh, remember when this happened? Not a defining moment for me. So no, not for me, that one.
So you don't like the figure, or is it that?
I think it's overrated. I think for Undertaker figure, it's fine. I just think it doesn't need to be classed as a defining moment, personally.
Okay. Could probably disagree with that one, but you might disagree with me. Mine is the Slim Jim Macho Man Elite, which came out last year with the SDCC exclusive. Now, I listened to another podcast. It's called the Fully Posable Wrestling Figure Podcast, and the guys on there were going on as if it was the best figure that was ever being released of the Macho Man. I can't understand why. I think it's only because maybe the Slim Jim brand in America is much more wider known than it is in the UK. It just doesn't have the feeling for me. There's nothing there that really links it, other than, you know, going back and watching some old school wrestling. It's not something that resonates for me. It's a fine figure. It's just not. It wouldn't have even entered me top 10 last year, where these guys are saying it's number 1 of the last few years, and it's not for me. Well, it is for me. I've got it, but I don't think it's that good.
Yeah, I don't think, like, over here, for example, we don't get the whole buzz behind the Slim Jim. It'd be like if they did a Pepper Army Drew McIntyre. You know, it's not a brilliant, very weird figure to release. So yeah, for the fact that it goes for £200 plus is disgusting. So yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'll disagree with yours, Jamie. First of all, I absolutely love that Undertaker figure. I think it's a brilliant figure. He actually hates that figure in that moment, I believe. I watched on an interview segment once. Undertaker actually really doesn't like that moment, that attire, or the figure, I think. And yeah, Macho Man, it is what it is. We've had loads of them types of figures before, so yeah, I'd be in agreement with that one. For me, it's really down to the BAF line for me, the Builder figure line. They went through a lot of ones where it was just people in suits. And for me, I think they're very overrated. But if I had to choose one single figure, and I'll move away from the BAF line, I just wanted to give that a mention, it would actually be the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in the white attire. Because it's just value-wise, it goes for absolutely silly money. And I think he's already basically been covered with the red, and obviously his dragon attire as well, which are two great figures to have in your collection. I don't think the white one is needed, and I don't think it warrants the amount of money that it goes for.
Well, I mean, you've got a point about the money it went for, because in the same series as Harley, but it is getting a re-release, so it might not become as valuable. I mean, I've got one sitting just down here. I don't want to open it because it might be a bit more valuable than the new release. If it's going to be exactly the same, I might as well wait for the new release and try and sell that one for a little bit more. But the figure itself, I don't see anything wrong with it, other than it being a re-release of a basic. But it's probably Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's or one of his most famous matches. I would disagree.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the match. I just think the figure's bland for how much value it goes for. So I was concentrating on the value aspect.
Right, fair dues.
All right. So my question is from Clunky Chunk, the YouTube name. It says, "Is there one wrestler from the past who didn't get a figure made? It's in two parts, and you wish they did." So we'll concentrate on that question first. So, a figure from the past that you think should have been made for a wrestler.
After you, Adam, still thinking.
Ooh, I was half thinking as well there.
Should I start?
Yeah, Jamie, you start.
Right, Jazz. As Jazz has never had a figure made ever. I think she was big from 2001 through to 2004. Yeah, never had a figure. So yeah, I'd say that's one person I think should have had one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Jazz was an excellent persona in WWF, WWE, and yeah, she was in it for quite a decent amount of time as well, wasn't she? So there was no reason to have not given her a figure.
3 years, according to Jamie.
Yeah.
Well, might be longer. I only know because I watched SummerSlam 2004 yesterday, and she was on it.
Still over time, I wasn't watching. Don't agree with that one.
I think for myself, I'm really struggling to think of anyone that really sticks out that hasn't had a single figure. So I'm going to almost cheat on this a little bit, and it's someone that hasn't had a figure for ages. And it's actually a tag team with the accessories that I want.
Well, you're going to say
I'll choose one of the tag team at the end. And that is Butch Reed and Ron Simmons in the Doom characters.
Apologies, that is not my answer. Carry on.
Yeah, the Doom tag team. The only other ones that I can really think of is I really wanted a Crusher Khrushchev from like the mid 80s to go with Nikita and Ivan, which Jack's released.
Yeah, it would be good to get those guys in a larger form than the Galoobs that they got. They were quite poorly made with the track pants and trainers on, which they never wore. But yeah, good choice. For me, the figure, if I was going to say one figure that's never been released, and I'm not going to cheat, it's Dino Bravo. The guy never got a figure at all. So he's quite a big part of the WWF in the 80s and the early 90s. So I'd like to see him get a figure eventually, if possible.
Yeah, great choice.
Oh, strange.
Great choice. I think there's a lot of stigma attached with him, and obviously the circumstances surrounding his untimely death. So I'm not sure you will.
I think there was talk about the program, what's called that we're talking about. It was
Dark Side.
Dark Side of the Ring. Will put thinking of the possibility of releasing their own line of figures. I don't know how true that was, but if that is true, you could end up seeing some guys that were never destined to get figures, or certainly Mattel are not going to touch them ever again, like Superfly, Snooker, and Benoit, maybe. Although I don't even think they'll touch Benoit, if I'm honest.
No. Second part of the question was, which up-and-coming NXT wrestler are you most looking forward to seeing a figure of?
That's a greedy question, that one. 2 in a 1. So NXT. Is this another one?
Yeah, carry on.
It's going to be the blandest figure in the world, but it's just my personal favourite wrestler in it at the moment, which I wouldn't necessarily say up-and-comer. Am I allowed to say up-and-comer if they're still in NXT? Can that scale anyone, or does it have to be a youngster?
Let's just see if they haven't had a figure go there.
Let's go then with Danny Burch.
Nice.
My favourite.
Your favourite.
Jono
hasn't got a pick yet. Needs to think.
Well, J-Mo will go for it then. I think a Shotzi Blackheart would look good. Not a massive fan of her, but I think figure-wise it would look really good. They can do the box quite well. I think she's got quite a big fan base, according to the internet. So I think that would be a good figure to release for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why I'm struggling to pick this is I've stopped watching NXT recently. I've got a bit bored of it. I'm not a huge fan of any sort of recent releases, and especially NXT. I mean, a controversial opinion of mine is I don't think guys should get the figures until they hit the main roster. That is, it's probably pushing it with this day and age of NXT with how exposed they are now. I'll probably come around to having that. But that said, I'm rambling. It's Damian Priest. I'll go with Damian Priest. He could.
I thought you were going to say Karrion Kross.
I'm not a fan.
Questions next. That's that one. That two-parter done.
Right. So a final question picked by myself. It's from Adrian Braun or AD Braun. What would be your dream Elite double pack to be released from any era? Even could be a dream match of mixed eras. Adrian says he'd like to see CM Punk versus Owen Hart Elite double pack. What do you guys got?
Adam, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, for me, it's got to be around the late 80s for me with what I collect. And there's so many different choices I could have picked from this. But there's one that stands out. I'm really shocked that they've not had figures yet, considering they went in the Hall of Fame. And it's a tag team for me, and it is the Rock and Roll Express.
That is an amazing pick.
I
didn't think of.
For me, it's a two-pack that could potentially be a three-pack, but we'll stick with two-pack for relevance to the question. Test and Albert. I'd like to see a TNA two-pack.
Yeah, it was a bit left field with that one, but you're right. It could be cool to see those guys in a Mattel form. So myself, I was actually going to go with one of these guys for the last question about never having a figure. I don't think he has. Is the tag team of Power and Glory. So that's Hercules and Paul Roma. I would like to see them in an Elite Mattel double pack. Ideally, both with black trunks and the t-shirts and glasses. It would be a good one for us legend collectors. And it gets the guy first time in line, both of them.
Yes, it's a customizer's dream, that one. There's loads of custom ones been done of it, so it's obviously something that people want as well.
Yes, certainly be one of my top picks. I mean, if we are going to go double packs, I want to see tag teams. I don't want to see dream matches. I don't want to see, classic matches. Tag teams all the way with that one.
Yeah, either tag teams or superstar and manager, I think would be like a Deborah and Jeff Jarrett or something.
Yeah, I could live with that.
Yeah, there's something in that field. Billy and Chuck. We haven't had a Slick figure either yet. I mean, Slick would go with Power and Glory, wouldn't they? So.
Yeah, he did manage them for a short time, I think.
Surprised they haven't done a BAF of him because he'd fit nicely into a little suit.
Yeah.
Might be too skinny for those bigger set.
Maybe.
Load of figures. Have to make new parts.
But yeah, obviously we've still got questions to read out. So join us next time. So we will be reading out more questions, and get any more questions that you guys have in the comments below. Alternatively, head over to Facebook and like our 3 Points of Articulation podcast page. Ask us on Twitter as well, and obviously we'll read them out for you guys. And let us know which name you think we should call the segment of Q&A. But that's it for this week. So we'll join us again in a couple of weeks' time, 2 weeks. We'll be discussing a bit more about figures, looking at news, and the same segments that you all know and love. Adam, we'll see you next time.
Good chatting.
And Jono.
You're welcome.
Where's his dress? You playing with Perry Saturn's dress again?
Yeah, I'll have to put it back on.
Yeah, poor dress. All right, see you soon. All the best.
The 3 Points of Articulation.